Hello, 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 everybody. Hopefully, you can hear me. I hope um, the stream is going to be okay. I'm looking at it now. Look like I see a little lag. I don't know if that is what you're seeing, and hopefully, you guys can hear me. Please put a comment in the chat if you are having difficulty hearing me or what, because oftentimes I cannot tell just by what I'm seeing on my end. So um, let me know where in the world are my glasses, because you know I can't see up close without 'em. Let me get them. Oh, here's a pair. Here is a pair. What I did with them, pulled them off. Anyway, hi everybody. I got people in the chat already. And I switched back to StreamYard, everybody. So I was with Restream for a couple of months. I didn't like it. It was just, I had gotten used to StreamYard, I guess. I was more comfortable with its platform. I don't know how everything is going to go tonight as far as this platform. I'm going to do one thing here to hopefully get it a little better. I don't want this. Ah, where are we? Hmm. Sorry about that. I was trying to change the. Oh, I guess I can't change it while I'm on a. I don't know. Anyway, if you guys are having difficulty hearing or seeing me, let me know. I need to know. Because, like I said, I switched back to StreamYard. This is my first time using it since I switched back. Okay, Kingsbury, so you can hear me fine. Great, great, great. Okay, so who is in here already? Robin, how are you? Jenny, how are you doing? And Val, Danielle, and Carol, hi, how are you? And who else am I seeing? Kingsbury Craft and Pearl, how are you? Good, good, good. Good. Sounds good here. Okay. So everybody said they can hear, they can see me, everything's going fine. Uh who didn't do something with their Christmas decoration, Danielle? Okay. All righty then. So everybody that's on here so far that has responded so you can hear and see me good. So I'm glad of that. Again, like I said, I switched back to StreamYard, which is what I was using first before I went to Restream for a couple of months. Thought I'd get a better reception and everything. If I I am noticing some issues, so to say, it was for not making me happy. This is my first time being back with them, and I'm trying to see if there's anything I can do here on this end because I wanted to change something, and it isn't letting me do it. It is not letting me change the resolution. So I'm trying to change the resolution to get back, and it's not letting me do it. Sorry about that. I just thought I'd switch it and maybe get it so it's a little bit better. I'm not really happy with what's going on right now because I am seeing some stuff. Hi Becky, how are you? Ha ha! I didn't put away your decorations. Okay. How are you? So if you guys start noticing anything crazy, let me know. I know a lot of times you don't see it until the playback, and I'm trying to get ahead of that. I think I have a little idea of what the problem may be, not 100% sure about it. But anyway, we shall, chuck along and see what happens the rest of the night. So, as my intro or my little introduction that I always put out about what I'm going to talk about, stated that we were going to talk about organizing our design files. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that is one of the most frustrating things that I have. And we're not talking about control or anything like that. And we're not talking about perfection. We're talking about getting rid of the design chaos. For me, and you guys experience the same thing, let me know. Drop something in the comment and say, yeah, I experienced the same thing, or I need help, or I got a great idea of how to do it, or whatever. And let me know, because I have to admit, I mentioned this before, and I have yet to do anything about it, and it just continues to get worse, because now I'm going on 5 years of embroidering and collecting and buying um, designs, and have yet come up with a workable system. I usually end up using the ones that I buy right away. So I'm collecting things that I've already purchased. Sometimes never get used unless I remember, oh yeah, I had this, I had that. And then I spend an enormous amount of time going through all of my USB drives that I have. I have a whole box full of them. Or I'll go onto my desktop, to my download folder, and start looking for designs and stuff, because I know I have it. Today, I actually went into my external hard drive, and I knew I had a bunch of designs on the external hard drive because I try to save them to my external. I hadn't done that in a while, and I had tons of them on there. So I have a lot of designs. I have hundreds, if not pushing on thousand, 8,000 at least. I don't think I have thousands. I hope not. But anyway, for me, it is a huge, huge problem, and it's very frustrating and overwhelming. Overwhelming. So, if anybody else experiencing that same problem, are you having any difficulty with that, where you're looking for a design, you know you have it, but you can't find it, and you just feel overwhelmed by it, and you end up buying something new, or you end up buying design over because you can't find it, or you go back to the site, download it again, like I do often, so then you end up with duplicates and stuff. So if that's what you're doing, then we need to stop. And Daniel, you say you did go through your designs in 24 and saved them to a file, so that was great. We have to start somewhere. And this is my year. I promise you, this is my year. I am going to take some time every week, even if it's only an hour, and try my best to get this situation under control, because it has definitely gotten out of hand. Um, so one thing, I want to point out, as you know, if you can't find a design that's never stitched, uh, are you not filing them because you just forget to file it? You don't have a system set up. You don't understand the process of it, or you're just kind of like me, and I just gonna have to put it out there and be honest, just lazy. I don't stop and take the time to do it, because I did do it from Jump Street, and getting a system set up is very difficult. So somebody mentioned a couple of things. Danielle, you said you went through yours last year, and Carol, you said you actually print out each design and put that in a notebook, easy to flip through and see what I have. But don't ask me about my computer organization. Now, I do have a computer organization. Yeah, I'm having some difficulties on this end. Stuff is popping up over here. Um, anyway, if you guys start having issues, let me know. But anyway, what I was saying is that I kind of do like you do, Carol. But again, as far as the computer's concerned, I'm not organized. And Jenny, you say you have your designs and files too by the vendor. glad you brought that up because I'm going to talk about that as well when I start talking about some of the process of it and explain or tell you what it is suggested or recommended. Hi, Leslie. How are you? Who else dropped in? Marina, how are you? And you say you use the file system that Carly Bell put together, and I think you mentioned that before, and I have never checked her out to see. Well, yes, I did. I think I did, but I didn't move forward with that. And somebody else says, Danielle, you say you save them in a master flash drive. You do this once in a while to ensure you keep external copy in case your computer crashes. Now, that is an excellent idea. You definitely need to have it somewhere else besides on your computer, whether you put it in an external hard drive or a flash drive, which I use both, but not consistently. I still have not moved all of my designs because I keep buying them over to my external drive. You can also use the cloud to put it in into the cloud, but you have to find, even if you, wherever you put them, which is excellent that you're putting it somewhere, that we are putting them somewhere to keep and not have them uh, to lose them, because some of the places, depending upon where you buy your designs from, or even if you're doing your own digitizing, but specifically if you're buying them elsewhere because you're spending money, then a lot of places, most of the places that I buy my designs from, have a unlimited download. So if you need to re-download it because you lost it or whatever, you can go back and download it if you can remember where you bought it. That's one reason why I don't buy my designs from a lot of different places anymore, because I realize that it's best to stick with a few places that you have confidence in how it's being digitized, so you know it's going to digitize well. But not only that, that you'll be able to recover it if for some reason you do lose it. Now, I have to admit, when I first started embroidering, I went straight to Etsy. I didn't know about any other places to go. And I got pulled into Etsy because I found some African American designs just by accident. And I just went crazy and fell in love with that process. And all of those were on Etsy. So that's where I started collecting all of my designs from Etsy, regardless to who I bought it from, because at the time I didn't realize that you need to make sure who you're getting it from because so it be digitized correctly. And I got burned a few times because I did have some pretty rough designs that I ended up buying. And now I don't buy a lot of designs off of Etsy. I have to be honest about it, unless my favorite designers are on Etsy, like Stitchtopia is one of them. They definitely sell on Etsy, so I can, find their designs there. I bought quite a few things from um, mm, 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 mm. I'm drawing a blank on it, but the one that did the tennis shoe purse and everything, it'll come to me eventually, which I think they've kind of stopped. They've gone on hiatus. They don't have anything new. And I think there's a little sign up about their shop. And I don't want to knock people that are making money selling their designs on Etsy. I don't want to do that because I know there are definitely some good designers out, good digitizers that are selling their designs. The only thing that I have to say is, as we all know, and what I've mentioned, and several other people have as well, you have to be very careful, especially when you're buying off of Etsy, because you don't know the skill level of the person that you're buying the design from, and whether or not that design is going to stitch correctly. And oftentimes you cannot get a refund. That's the biggest problem. Even if you do a test stitch, which you should, and you run across an issue, you can't usually get a refund. So you're stuck like Chuck, losing your three, four, five, $6, $7, $8, whatever you spent on that particular design. And that has happened to me and several other people that I know. So just keep that in mind. that in mind. That's one of the other reasons why I don't buy a lot of designs off of Etsy anymore like I have in the past. I do have about, I would say, 6 or 7 places that I go to frequently that I feel very comfortable with. And I usually do not have an issue with that. So, hi Deborah, how you doing? Let me see what some of the comments have been. Um, Hey Sean, how are you? Thanks for stopping by. Jenny, you say you need to start putting your designs on an external hard drive. Yes, I would highly recommend that. Um, and Marina, you say you immediately trash the file extensions. They don't work with my machine. I only keep the PES and the DST formats. Yes. And I also like mentioning that when I go sites, which, I have my 6 or 7 that I go to, oftentimes you can choose which format that you want to download, and you download all of those other extraneous formats that you don't use. So that helps save up some space. And then again, like you say, you just throw away the ones that you can't use if that's what you choose to do. And Leslie, you say you have a 1 terabyte drive that you have for your photos and craft, and you can install that drive on a new desktop. Good, because I know you and your son build. Well, I know you say your son builds your computer, so that's good. Deborah, you say you used to delete all the extensions except for the PES, but now you also keep DST. I do as well. And also, just as a hint, hack, a reminder, in case you didn't know, for those of you that have Embroidery and probably a lot of the other software that's out there, especially if you paid a little money for it, they usually have, or at least Embroidery does have the ability to convert your extension to a usable extension. So if you happen to have a design that is not the exact design for your machine and you do have Embroidery, you can convert it over to your um, usable design. I've done that several times. Um, and Carol said, you just got a new computer. And when you use OneDrive to move OneDrive, which is an app, to move my files to new computer, they all went to the cloud and not on my actual computer. I need time to get them on my actual hard drive now. You know what? I don't like OneDrive and I don't like the cloud. I don't. I don't know how to go into the cloud and get my stuff. I know I got all kinds of pictures and personal stuff somewhere floating around in the cloud that I will never see again. Because I'm not that computer savvy. I used to be a whole lot better than I am now. And I honestly don't know how that process works very well. And so I don't like OneDrive. I don't like the cloud because I don't feel like I have control over it. You got to remember your passwords. I never do. That's the issue I have currently at this moment with my, either it's my OneDrive or the cloud or both. I don't remember the password, so I don't have access to them right now. And I haven't bothered to fight with, trying to switch it or get a one or whatever. It's so many things that you need to do. Um, so pretty much most of you have discussed about how you're keeping your files, and I'm glad to hear that the majority of you guys aren't as bad as I am. But I tell you, I know I'm bad. And I'm going to ask you guys some questions to help me out in a minute because, as you know, I'm the one that's suffering here. But I do have some filing suggestions that kind of address a little bit about what Leslie said. And that's pretty much setting up a good filing system to help you be able to find your designs quickly because it's more important to just have a file that says Embroidery Library, Urban Thread, designed by Juju, or whatever, however you're doing it, and just stick everything in that particular file. You still have to go into that particular folder and still search and search and search to find what you're looking for. But if you have a good system set up, then it can help you out. And you have to have a single root folder, at least that is suggested, on your computer or in the cloud or on your external drive. And what it is suggested, you can do embroidery designs by project type or by hoop size, which I would never do, by occasions, maybe, by source, which is what you do, Leslie, and that would be where you bought it from, and they said that's optional, or by format, which would not make sense for the majority of us because the majority of us use only one or two formats for our embroidery machines. So we know, like those of us that have brothers, we know we're going to either have a PES or we're going to have a DST. All the other formats are definitely not something that we need. So why have it? So the example that they has been presented is if you do it embroidery designed by hoop size, have all your 4x4s in a design in a file, your 5x7, your 6x10s, or what have you. So you have it hoop by size. So you know, say for instance, you want to do something for a baby onesie, or you want to do something even for like a napkin, a handkerchief, a cuff on your sleeve, or something that's going to be small, then you can go to your small design folder versus, the design is a 6x10, but you want to put it on a cuff. That's not even realistic for me, for the person that, alters sizes quite frequently. You can only alter it so much. So it is suggested that you do it by hoop size. I'm not. That would be a subcategory for me, to be honest about it. It wouldn't be a root category. It would be a subcategory. Another one which I think would be more useful for me, maybe, is by project type, and that would be like towels, baby designs for hats, uh, puff embroidery, home decor, things like that, jacket backs, those kinds of things would, by project type, especially for those of us that have some type of business and we're doing something over and over again. We know we're going to be doing t-shirts. We know we're going to be doing hoodies. We know we're going to be doing towels, blankets, bands, all those things over and over and over and over again. It makes sense to put your designs in those project type files. Make them easy to find, and that's your root file. Then you break them down in categories or subcategories from that. Another root file type could be occasions such as the holidays, Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, Halloween, or situations like weddings, anniversaries, birthdays, things like that, where you can um, use that as a root filing system. So you have a main file that you set up that says Christmas, and then you put all of your Christmas design in that file. Then you go back and separate all of them. You can separate them by size, hoop size. You can even separate them by thread count. You can separate them by the amount of colors. You can do it by, it was one more thing I was thinking. I said the size, the colors, um, the thread count, something else. I lost it, but anyway, you get the picture, and then you break them down that way. So you can break them down even further once you do that by specifics, like all your butterflies, all of your flowers, all of your skeletons, if you do a lot of Halloween type stuff, all of your cross, all of your Easter eggs, all of your Santa Claus, all of those kinds of things, will help you find your design. Now, all of these things are suggested by the resources that I looked up as a good way of setting up your designs. And it does take time to get so specific with it. But what it does, it helps you to know where to look, and you can look quickly and find what you're looking for. Now, as far as vendor is concerned, they kind of don't think that that's the best way to do it because um, one specific, a lot of us use Design by Juju. We got 50 million zillion different designs by Juju. I will still never find what I'm looking for if I simply have a file that is the root file says Design by Juju, because I have their fonts, I have tiles, I have jacket back, I have sketches, I have everything. All kinds of projects is wall hangings, mug rugs, everything that I have gotten from that one particular designer. So I would just have a file on my desk, and everything that I've purchased practically would be falling into that file. So it's still not organized well enough to be able to find. So that's one of the reasons why they recommend that you don't do it just by the vendor that you bought it from, but more importantly by type. Because again, especially if you're into the business aspect and you're wanting to, and I'm talking about people that don't do their own digitizing, and those of you that do, like Sean, I know you're on here and I know you digitize, and it may be somebody else on here that's watching or on in there that I don't know that do their own digitizing. I'm sure you have your own process, but you're not digitizing the exact same thing all the time. You're not just doing um, lettering or fonts. You're not just doing it for jacket backs and you may be doing jackets, you may be doing towels, you may be doing caps. So you still have to separate the stuff, even though you're the one that did the digitizing. You can still separate it by colors, by thread count, by the number of colors. That's what I was trying to think of when I said colors. I'm not just pinks and reds and stuff, but do they have 4 colors in the design or 24 colors in the design? You can kind of um, manage a file system that looks at that as well. Because what I ended up doing, started actually, I believe last year, I used to buy a design basically on personal taste, what I liked, what was pretty to me, with no thought into how long it will take to stitch it out. And I was in the process of setting up my Etsy shop. And I have to admit, I made some tiles and things that I put on my Etsy shop that ain't gonna make me a dime because I lose money because it's too many colors, takes too long. And it really struck home with me the middle of last year, I believe it was anyway, it was last year when I got an order for some kitchen towels. And it just so happened to be one of the towels design that was very stitch heavy. And when I say stitch heavy, I mean, it took a minute to do each one, but the price was the same for that particular towel as it was for all the rest of them. So I literally made no money, and um, that was a huge eye opener. However, before even then, I had realized because I had decided for myself personally, I don't want to keep buying designs that requires a lot of thread changing. What tempted me into buying my multi needle machine in the beginning when I first started embroidery because I got my SE 1900, and it's the largest hoop is 5 by 7, which was a lot better than the very first one that I kept a week and sent it back. Was a 4 by 4, and it didn't take me but a week to realize that was way too small for my design. And oh my goodness, I'm so mad because my back StreamYard, and I'm having a second for, and I have this very powerful, expensive internet that and it's not even wireless. It's hot wired into my computer and everything, and I'm still having issues. So I'm gonna have to figure this one out. It's not working. But anyway, what I was saying is, um, I start paying more attention to how many colors, because even though I have a multi needle machine, I only have 10 needles. And if I'm constantly buying designs that requires 20 different or even 30 plus different colors because it's really pretty, that's extremely time consuming. You're constantly trying to manipulate and figure out how you're going to set your machine and program machine so you can get all the right colors at the right time, and you're changing your threads. Now I got the multi-needle machine because I didn't want to have to change threads so often as you do with a single needle machine. And then after getting the multi-needle machine, I'm still changing a lot of threads. So I'm like, wait a minute, this ain't working. I don't have a 16 needle or 20 needle machine. I only have a 10 needle machine. So why am I getting a 20 needle or 16 needle design? I'm still having to change thread. And then that adds on oftentimes to your time. And again, if you're making something to sell, you really can't price that product at the price that it should be based upon your time that you put into it, because you would literally price yourself out of the market. Just being honest about it. Like we as a group, my Zoom group, we learned when we did our Christmas tree skirt how long that process was to do it. That was our first project, and it was the biggest one we've done. But we learned then we couldn't make this skirt to sell to anybody. They couldn't pay for what it is worth as far as the time and effort and energy and all of the stuff that goes into it. We would literally price ourselves out of the market. I know, because I promise you, they're going to pay me a mint if I make it for somebody to sell. Making it for somebody to give was a lot. And it had to be somebody special. But to make it and sell to someone would have to pay me a penny. And I don't think anybody would be willing to pay that kind of money. You may find one or two people if you're lucky, but it would shock me because, and when I say a lot of money, I mean a lot of money. I'm not talking about a couple of $100s either. No way. I could not make that skirt and sell it for a couple of $100s. It takes way too long. So again, you have to stop and think about those kinds of things. So it made me start paying more attention to what the color changes, how many color stops are there. And if it was more than 12 or 14, I wouldn't do it. And the only reason I would do up to 14 is because that's not that difficult. You only have to do it one switch out of your thread. You thread all 10 needles, and then you can quickly go in and put the other four colors on there because it would be easy to do the switch. But when you're talking about 20 and 30 colors, that's a lot. It takes a lot of paying attention and programming. I have my pad and I'm going down and I'm like, okay, when I get to this one, then I need to go and I need to change. It's a lot. It's a lot. And it takes up a lot of time. So those are some things, and I went through the trees in the forest to get to part of what you need to think about when you're doing your filing system, looking at your thread colors and your thread stops, or how many times you have to switch your thread, even especially on a single needle, you need to pay attention to that, especially if you're doing something to sell. If we're doing it for fun and we're doing it to give to somebody, it's still something that you need to be able to say, okay, this is going to be a special project for a special person, and I'm willing to put in the time to do this particular design because it's going to take up some time. And I see, Sean, you say it's true and they have to pay. Of course, they're going to have to pay for the time, or you're not going to make any money. You're not going to make any money. You be just doing this for the fun of it. And as much as I like embroidery, I have to be honest, I don't always do it for the fun of it. I don't always do it even for myself anymore for the fun of it. It has to be something that is really, really catching my eye, that I think is special, that I'm willing to put in that much time when I'm just going to be watching my thing stitch out for an hour, hour and a half. I've done as much as 2 hours on a design because it's so many different colors and all of that. And Leslie, you said you made the design by Juju Nativity Christmas tree skirt, and most color changes was 16, and you don't like designs with more than that. I agree. I agree. I agree. And Jenny, you're talking about your little cat Wednesday. What did Wednesday do? I kind of missed that. Your cat Wednesday won't let you chat. She's taking up all your attention. I got that. She's like a little puppy. I'm not into cats that much, so I don't know that much about them, but I know puppies are the same way. Carol said, I often end up typing the name of the design in my search in the C drive, and it may take a few, but it usually pops up. Yeah, and it will in your search, which I have to be honest about it. I just learned that not very long ago because I was looking and looking and looking and couldn't find it, and something told me to put the name in there, and it popped up, and I was like, okay, I've been wasting up a whole lot of time, and I don't even have a filing system set up. So thanks for putting that out there. You should be able to find your design by going into your search on your computer and typing your name if you can remember the name. That's the other thing. If you don't remember the name, you still out of luck. Because you're not going to find it, or you'll have a hard time finding it. So let's talk about it. So your folder may be organized, but your file names are still your search engine. So you have to organize it, but you also have to make sure that you name it correctly. So project type, example, project type would be baby or towel or even bags. Then you'll have it, the size. So you have a tile design that is a 5 by 7. Then you can put the stitch count in if you know it, 25,000 stitches. You can put the vendor name in there if you remember it, DDJJ. And if you are doing it for a left chest logo or a center, you can put that part in there as well. But the example that they gave, and I'm going to put it in the link so you guys can see what the example is, just to give you an idea of how you would name this file. So give me a minute. I didn't want to do a I didn't want to do a presentation or anything like that, a PowerPoint. So I just said I'll just do this quick and easy. put this and run it across the skies. See if it runs across. There we go. Okay, you look at the screen, it's run across. This is a way that you can set up a file. They're saying baby would be the title, so it's for baby big, and it's a 5 by 7 design. It has 12 stitches, and you named it polka dots, and it's a PES format. So their suggestion that is one way that you can label your designs in your file, and it will help you be able to pull it up. And this is something that you can save in a file on your desktop, put it in the cloud or OneDrive. You can put it in external. You can save it on your USB or however you're in the process. But this is just a suggestion as to how you can set up your your filing system. Now, everyone has their own way of doing it. I've never really, again, I haven't set up a filing system, so I haven't set anything up yet. But this makes sense as long as you know what your system is and how you're going to do it. It makes sense. But see, your file category for this particular design that's running across the screen, your root file, the name of that file, that little folder that you put on there would be baby designs. And then inside for each file, you would have baby, so it could be baby bib, it could be baby onesie, it could be baby socks, it could be baby cap, what baby blanket, whatever you're doing. And then the size, you can have a 4 by 4, 2 by 3, a 4 by 6, a 5 by 7, 8 by 8, whatever size that you're doing. And if you want to add the stitch count, that helps. You could even break it down to the color count. You can add that to it as well, which I probably would. I probably would put 4 colors, 5 colors, 10 colors, whatever. So that lets me know if I want to make something quick and easy to run out the door in 10 minutes, I'm not going to make something that's got 10, 12 colors to it. I'm going to get the 4 or 5 colors. It's going to be the stitch count. It's going to be small, like 1,200 stitches, and rock and roll with that and move on. And if it's a teddy bear, I may put teddy bear in there or something like that. Now, am I making this difficult and the name much longer and all of that? I don't think so, because again, like Carol was saying, if you type in 1 or 2 words in your search engine just on your computer, you don't have a software, you don't have anything, it's gonna pop up, and then you'll be able to find it. And if you have a viewer, something like Thumbnailer from Embroidery, then you'll be able to see that design. So that's going to help you be able to find your designs a lot quicker. Because I tell you, I know people that have done their designs, filed their designs, they stick them in a folder every time they get them, and they still end up looking for them. And it still takes them time to find it. And this is something that is supposed to help you to find it, because we're learning how to stitch smarter, not longer. That's the main gist of our beginning of 2026, how we're trying to organize and everything, and just stitch smarter. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about that. So that is a suggestion as to how to set it up, just in case anybody was interested. So that the way I have it listed running here, and as you can see, it's underscored, and that's important because you can't put certain um, characters and files and stuff like that. And it depends upon whether or not you're using a software or not. Hi, Joe. How you doing? Thank you for stopping by. Let's see. Anybody? I keep these little breaks over this end. I don't know if you guys seeing, but seeing it, and I cannot figure out what's going on. I'm not getting any messages anymore about a weak signal or stuff, but I keep getting the little breaks, so I don't like that. But we're gonna keep going. Da. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna talk about are softwares. There are so many different ways of filing, and some people decide to get a software to help them out. I'm not recommending anything, but I just wanted to give you information. Now, the one main thing that I am recommending, uh, especially for those of us that use Embroidery, you definitely need to have thumbnail. Now, I it took me a minute for my thumbnail to work, and I don't know what I wasn't doing, but when I first got thumbnail way back in 2020, it didn't work for me. But I did manage to get it figured out, and it's a lifesaver to be able to look at your design that you downloaded, because for me that's what saves me and helps me to find it. So something like thumbnail, it shows you the preview of your embroidery design. It lets you see what you own without opening the file, and it works with many formats. And I'm sure with what we use, the PES, the DST, JEF, EXP, and et cetera, et cetera. I think Thumbnailer works with every format that's out there. And the other thing that's great it is it works on a Mac as well as a PC, just like Embroidery software does. It works on a Mac as well as a PC. Why is it useful? Because it gives you visual browsing. It speeds up your file selection and is great for people who hate opening up files one at a time, because you get a chance to see what it is. So that's a good thing for Thumbnail. Thumbnail is not free. I don't even know if they have a free trial version of Thumbnailer. They may, I don't know. But you can go on embrilliance.com, check that out. I know they have a 30-day trial for um, uh, their regular essentials, but I'm not sure if they have that for Thumbnailer. But you can go on there and check and see. I think Thumbnailer runs around $49. Um, Before, if you're lucky enough and catch some of their sales, they do like a 10% off sale every once in a while. You might be able to save, $2. But it's usually, if I'm not mistaken, around $49. So it is not free. Now, another one that was suggested was Willcom True Sizer. And I went on Willcom.com to find it. I couldn't find it. And I was like, wait a minute, hold up. They have a Willcom uh, workshop, work something True Sizer, which is something that I'm not talking about. This is just Willcom, WILCOM, True Sizer. I couldn't find it. Then I kept looking, and I did find it under a software company, I guess, called Soft Tonic. SOF, S as in Sam, OF as in Frank, T as in Tom, ONIC, Soft Tonic. It's free on that site. I don't know anything about it. I do know Willcom Hatch, which I have, comes with a software component called Organizer, which does the same thing that Thumbnailer does. So you will be able to look at your design. So if you're looking for something that's free, see if you can find Organizer and check that out. It is stated to be free and reliable. preview designs and it allows basic editing. It shows stitch count and size quickly. So I don't know anything about it. They recommend it because many stitchers already use it, so you guys may be familiar with it. And it is a low pressure tool. Preview plus basic info. You don't have to use it for any type of editing. You just need it for understanding what you have. So it's just basically a viewer where you can view what's on your um, computer or wherever you put your designs, and you can look it up and see what you have. Now, the next one is the cloud storage with preview, which is Google Drive or OneDrive or Dropbox. I don't use either one of them, but they're free as well. If you save your designs to the cloud, they say just enable preview, and then you can do it. You can see your thumbnail without software, and you can search by text if you have a good naming system. And they said the tip for that is definitely name your file before you upload it to the cloud so the search would work. If you don't do that, then you're just going to have a bunch of stuff in the cloud and you'll be just like it's on your computer. You can't find it. And cloud storage becomes a design catalog and not just a storage. So it allows you to work off of directly from the cloud if you're so inclined. For me, that would not work. And the last two that I'm going to mention are you have to pay money for, and they're not cheap. The next one is Buzz Explore, and I'm going to attempt and show you the if I can do that without this thing being even more crazy than it already is. Mm, okay. It should be getting ready to ship. Hopefully this is going to work. Come on. I believe it's going to pop up in a minute. I know I disappeared. It shut me down. I have no idea why that happened. I know I'm going to stop running my banner. Okay. Yeah, I know it shut me down, you guys. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. I was trying to just see and hear me and all of that. Yeah, I'm back. It's, yeah, it it shut me down while I was trying to share. And happened. I did test this before coming on, but when you're looking at your bandwidth that you're using, I'm going to stop my. Um, okay, I'm trying to share again. I'm going to try it one more time. Let me see if it's going to work. See if it's going to work. It should work. Hopefully, it won't shut me down. I'm going to stop running this banner though, because that might help if I stop doing that. Got to figure out how to stop it. Stop, stop, stop. Not working. So I am not going to do that. Gosh. Hmm. This is terrible. This is. I can't get my comment back. I hope you guys can still hear me because I am having some issues here. Can you guys still hear me? Think you can. I think you can still see me as well. Why can't I stop this thing? Got that done. Okay. Okay. Well, I stopped the banner. I stopped the sharing. So that hopefully we can hear you good. Stop the banner, stop the sharing. So maybe I won't get kicked off again. I wanted to show you guys the the website. I guess I was trying to be a little bit more ambitious than I should have been, especially my first night back on StreamYard, because I know I had trouble with them before. You said the audio has been glitchy. Oh, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I have, I'm going to work on it before we get back next week. Again, if you guys remember, I had a lot of trouble with StreamYard with the video, the audio, all of that stuff. And then I switched out of the StreamYard, went to Restream. I just switched back to StreamYard, being my and back, and it has not improved. So good. It is something that many are don't go on with what it is. Because before I moved here into this house that I'm in now, when I was back in Maryland, I really had very little trouble with StreamYard. But since I've been here, it has not worked well for me. And I do think it's the surrounding where I am more so than anything. Um, so that's really not making me happy. But we shall see. But I was trying to share my screen and show you guys this website for this software called Buzz Explore. But I can't. It does have a free trial. It is a file organizing system. It does have a price tag to it. It runs I think it's about $150, $149 is what it costs. I think that's the yeah. It's um $49. I think you can download it or you buy Yeah, I keep going and coming and going, coming and coming. It is really ticking me off. It really ticking me off. I'm so mad about it. Right quick. It what it does, it tags, it search, and it previews, and other thing that it does that I like designs like I do, but Buzz, B-U-Z, B-U-Z, B is in boy, U-Z-Z, X as in X-ray, Plore, Buzz Explore is the name of the software. And let me tell you, in functionality and numerous time-saving wizards that makes the design management software you can get a printed report. And what it does, it will convert embroidery designs, just like I mentioned about embroideries. If you have a JEF and you need it TES, you can get it converted. It will convert cross stitch patterns. It will extract your zip file, create category folders, clean up duplicate design, package design collections, create design notes, create thumbnail graphics, convert graphic files, and write embroidery cards. So that is for that, and numerous after that, I'm gonna go and get off because this thing keeps messing up. You know how much of ever, but like I said, it's really getting on my last nerve. And fix this. I do have the highest speed on my internet. My sitting right next to my computer is plugged into my computer. I do know why I'm in this problem because I want to make sure that you guys get a good video. It doesn't make sense for me to do this if you're not getting the information and it's hard for you to, and I don't blame you. But the last one I wanted to tell you about is Floriani, my design album software. Floriani, like the same company that makes the thread and the digitizer software, Floriani, Floriani, my design album, and it's pretty expensive. The manufacturing suggested retail price is $4.99, but everywhere you look, you can get it for $2.99. So they knock off a couple of $100, which they should, even more. But it takes total control. So it says over the embroidery design on your computer. Organize your embroidery design into easy to find category. The audio and video is glitchy and is blurry. What ISP do you have? Oh, Lord. Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and the video is blurry too. I didn't know that. Hmm. I didn't know the video was blurry. The sound blurry, the video is blurry, everything is blurry. I don't know what to do. Hmm. All righty. with it, hopefully you guys can hear me. Uh, since I have such a bad connection, everything is just really getting crazy. I am going to go ahead and shut down because it's not working for you guys. It's not working for me. I need to find out what is going on and see if I can't fix it. And then I will try to, I don't know, do a repeat or whatever. Uh, Carol, you say your video is okay. Catch you on the flip side. Okay. I don't know what's going on. I think it is my internet, Jenny. I really do, but I don't know why it's my internet. That's the problem. I don't know why it's, but I don't know what it is. I really don't know. Sorry. I'm so sorry about this bad connection that we have. Okay, Pearl, you said the video is clear now. All righty. Can you guys hear me clearly? Answer me that before I go. Can you hear me clearly? And can you see me clearly? Because I was trying to do too much for this little thing that acting a fool tonight, and it just wasn't having it. I was trying to share my video, share my screen, and I had the banner going, and I have you guys online. And okay, so you guys can hear me and see me. So I'm going to go ahead and finish with the um, Floriani, my design software. I did tell you what the price was. It is not cheap, but I wanted to let you know what it does. Um, it helps you with your organizing. It's a filing system, and you can change. It changes your color. It splits designs, which is interesting. If you guys don't have a software that splits designs, it will split your design. Um, Leslie says going in and out, but it's fine now. Okay. Well, I know it was acting a fool, so that much I'm aware of. Um, you can resize your designs. It fits designs to the hoop. So it's basically an editing software. That's why it costs so much money. It does a slow redraw. That's like your stitch simulator, I would assume. You can cut, copy, and paste object. It rotates objects. Um, you can add design notes. It will do vertically and horizontal mirror. You can select and view your hoops, print the color sequence guide, save the design into a format that you need, and it can batch convert a design into multiple formats if that's something that you need to do. So it's almost like a mini editing software, but it's also an organizing software. So I do have it. I am in the process of trying to figure out how to use it. I'm not sure that it was a good purchase. I've had it for a while. I did try the Buzz Explore free trial, and I wasn't 100% happy with it. And this Floriani design, I saw someone at a quilt shop that was demoing it, and it looked very interesting. That's what made me get it a while back. And to be honest about it, I just put it on my computer today, and I've had it over a year. So I got it because I saw them demo it, explain it. It sounded like it was something that I needed that would work for me, but I really never got around to trying it out to use. What I need to do is look at some videos, some YouTube videos to figure out how to set it up and everything, which I know they have some out. And that is my plan since I did purchase it. And I'm in the process now of being serious about getting my files organized and everything. I will let you guys know exactly how it's working for me as I progress through it, because I have set up some goals, and I'm going to have to add to my goals that I've set up is getting me a working internet system. And I don't know, I'm not going to buy anything different than what I already have because I don't think there's anything wrong with what I have. I did get, what do I have? It's a Google internet, Google Fiber. That's what it is. Google Fiber. I have the highest grade. It's supposed to be guaranteed. It is not inexpensive. The router is sitting right next to my. Matter of fact, I had it hooked it up in my studio, so I didn't have to have it, try to go all the way across the house. It's actually hooked up in my studio, sitting on the desk right next to my computer and plugged into my computer. So I should not be having any issues. They can't say, it's a bad connection and all that kind of stuff because it's right here and it's connected. So why is it not working right? I don't know. That's the part that really, really bothers me. Now I know, Sean, if you're still on here, you had mentioned something to me the other day, last Saturday when we were doing the shoe um, tutorial, and my feed kept freezing, and you told me something about clearing out. I believe you were saying clearing out the cache in the modem or something. If you can put that information in the chat, because I didn't catch it and I didn't do anything, but hopefully I'll be able to do that as well and figure out a way again to get everything up and running. I just switched back to StreamYard because I didn't like Restream. And I like the functionality of StreamYard, even though I'm going to have to remember how to do some of the things because I was away for it for a few months. But I'm more comfortable with StreamYard than Restream. I wasn't really liking how it flowed, but I got to come up with a live streaming platform that's working for me. I know some people use strictly YouTube, which I did the very first few times I did my live stream, and it worked okay. So that is an option, but I'm going to figure something out because I want to make sure that we have good videos. And like tonight, I think I was overloading everything with a weak signal, and I had my banner running, and I was trying to do the sharing of the screen and all that kind of stuff, and it wasn't happening. That's all I can say. It wasn't happening. So it was not going very well. So you guys said that it cleared up. You guys can hear me. So I'm glad that worked out with that part. So I told you about all the softwares that you can use. I gave you some free software information as well as some that cost money. So, if you're so inclined to come up with some type of help with the software, then, I mean, with your filing, then those are some options. Hi, Margot. How are you? Thank you for stopping by. And hi, Eve. How are you? Thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it. And so, the other thing that I wanted to add on is we have to start doing filing our designs, make that a weekly habit. If you do, I recommend doing it as soon as you get the design, which I don't do, but definitely a weekly habit. You got to add your new designs into your folder immediately. You need to do that. You need to rename it and save it, and you need to review your file folders every month, is what the recommendation is, to make sure you have it filed correctly. Everything is in there, clear off your desk, get everything organized. That's something that we're going to all have to do if we're not doing it. Always look at stitch count and size before stitching to make sure that you're comfortable with the designs that you get. And as I had mentioned before, for me, especially if you're doing a lot of your embroidery to make money, it's important to know what your stitch count is. It's important to know how many colors are necessary for the design that you're choosing, because you have to be careful, you can end up, eating up every bit of your profit if you have a two-stitch heavy design that you're trying to sell. They're beautiful. And I know my biggest problem is, as I told you, I like the big, beautiful, wonderful, colorful design, but they're not practical when you're trying to make some money, because the more time it takes for you to stitch out a design, the more money you're going to need to charge, and then you're going to end up having to charge yourself out of the market. So keep it at a minimum. I think I've heard somebody say they won't go more than four colors, and it makes sense. Now that limits your designs a lot, especially the ones that I like. Now I don't know about you guys, but I'm very colorful and bold and big in size and all that kind of stuff. That's what impresses me. But with that being said, that puts me in a situation where I got these beautiful tiles on Etsy, and I can't price them at the price they need to be priced in order to sell them. People not realizing all of the time and energy and effort and supplies that have gone into it to make them all of these beautiful, colorful designs. And when I look at some of the other ones that are out there, they're pretty simple. And I have to change my taste, and my taste has to fit the customers, and maybe that's what people like more. So keep all of that in mind when you're picking out what it is that you want to make. And that goes for anything that you're selling, whether it's towels or baby blankets or hoodies and t-shirts. You have to make sure you can produce and reproduce those items in a reasonable time frame, especially if you're on a single needle machine, and especially if you are one like me that only has one machine that I work from. I don't work from multiple machines. So if I get a big order, and I've gotten some big orders, I have to adjust my time. And I have seen and heard of people that are working all through the night trying to get orders out, and all up in the morning and early and all that kind of stuff. And mm, okay, I'm too old for that. That is not what I want to do. That does not sound like fun to me. That does not sound like something I want to do, even though you're making money. Is the money worth it when you're not happy because you're tired? And the more tired you are become, the easier it is for you to make mistakes. And mistakes cost money, because if you make a mistake, you're going to have to redo that. So whatever money you were making, you've already lost that. That profit is gone. If you have to redo an item, you have just lost that profit, because you cannot recharge someone for your own mistake. So, pushing yourself to the point where you're tired. I know for me, if I go beyond midnight, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a big problem for me. Now, I'll get up if I have to, but if I have to work past midnight to get something out, that's not going to make me happy at all, because I cherish my time. I really do. So all of that you have to keep in mind. Um, I have a I have a library checklist, and let me see. No, that's what of you that just hopped in. Uh, I've been having so issues here uh, with with StreamYard. And I don't know, do you guys use StreamYard? And if you do, are you having any issues or anything where you can give me some suggestion? Or are you using another platform that works well for you? That is a good, Eve, you and John, you guys are online all the time. What platform do you guys use? Because I want to make sure that I am finding the best thing. I've used Restream. I just switched back to StreamYard because I didn't particularly care for the way it works. Back with StreamYard, I'm having the same issues that I have in left, which is making me really, really unhappy. And I'm going to really say some things to them when I get off of here tonight. So if you guys are you on here listening, you are the ability to put anything in chat, can you please put something in whether or not you are sure you use Eve Mux? I'm not familiar with that one. I don't think I've heard of it. Let me write that down. Just had a pen. That's new to me. I haven't heard. And Eve, what do you use if you don't mind telling me? Cause I want to know. I got to find something that is going to be reliable for me that I am comfortable with. Because like I said, I use Restream. I didn't particularly care for that. I'm back here with StreamYard, and they're really ticking me off like they did before I left them. So I'm not sure I'm going to stay with them either, because I'm having the exact same issues that I had prior to. Didn't have these same issues with Restream. I had other issues that I didn't like. So to figure that out for me, and there's no real issue with the past storm and power outage because of the issue. No, I don't think so. We didn't lose any power in this area. They've not said anything about um, that kind of stuff, internet issues. And Eve, you say you can also stream directly on YouTube. Yes, I did that. Your would be using a streaming software like OBS. Okay. I have used OBS for recording my screen, but I never used it for live streaming. Like I've used OBS to record what I'm doing on my screen so people can see what I'm doing, if that makes sense to you. I've used OBS, but I've never used it to stream. However, I did use YouTube to do live stream when I very first started doing live stream, and I switched because so many people like yourself, Eve, and Jeanette from Baroque Sewing and Craft, and other people that I had been watching and stuff had been using StreamYard. So I said, well, you can do a little bit more on StreamYard than you can with YouTube. So that's why I switched. So yeah, so you use it and that's all you've used and it works out fine for you. So I'm going to have to figure something else out. When I was in a different location, as I mentioned, it was working better. But right now, it isn't doing good for me. So I'll figure it out. Good night, Robin. Robin and Leslie and Val, if you're still on here, and Becky and Deborah and Danielle. Who else is on here? Jenny and Joyce. We are getting together tomorrow night. So hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow night on the Zoom. And I am going to be getting out of here as well. I got to go to work tomorrow. Normally, I do stay on here until 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, but since I've been having such an issue with my streaming here, I'm really, really not feeling it. And I pretty much went over everything I wanted to go over anyway. I do appreciate all of you that have hung in here with me, in regardless all of this craziness that has happened. I'm going to look at the playback and see how bad it is, and then I'm going to go ahead and try to figure out going forward how to have a better reception for next week. So you guys take care. Thank you for stopping by. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, even though I know it was kind of a crappy thing tonight, unfortunately. And I will see you guys next week. Take care and have a wonderful day.